Well, a very good evening on the 22nd of March 23 from the home address. These are the last of the dark nights. Clocks get shifted, so this time next week, well, we'll be looking at additional hours daylight, won't we? Interestingly, these two clocks, despite not being touched, have both moved well, that one's moved 5 minutes to match up this one, which has not been wound up for a wee while. So they're both sitting at 16 minutes past 7, oddly. Don't know why. But if you've been wondering where I've been for the last 2 or 3 days, it's none of your business. But I was enjoying my little outing to Amalree today. Unfortunately, I never got really much chatting done in Glenquaich. I was more musing to the music and also to the scenery myself rather than doing any chat, so there may not be much to load, but I did stop off, as you may find out, that I slipped into the lay-by and sat a little while looking over the Vale of Monee, one of my favourite locations, just sitting there, but the light was absolutely beautiful. I don't think it picked up well in the camera through the shaded windscreen slightly, and it wasn't quite as good in camera as it was in a natural view, if you understand. But yeah, there's not much really to report, except I've got a cup of tea here, so I'm going to have a sip while it's hot. It's a very pleasant cup of tea, Andrew. And yeah, I suppose the only thing that crops up is, well, we've managed to make it through the winter. And it's been a hard winter for most people, not so much weather-wise, but more financially, dealing with fuel bills and the electric bills and stuff like that. It's a total disaster, isn't it? Bit of a con, actually. A lot to say on that, but I'm not going to talk about that tonight. Although it is interesting to know that if the £100 in your pocket, if you've got £100, that is, going with the way things are, it'll probably only be worth about £88 by this time next year. I think I mentioned before that if you had £1 million in 1972, you would now need, well, the last calculation, about 14.1 million, but it's probably nearer 16 million you would need. It sounds a lot, doesn't it? But it's true, because of inflation and house price rises and stuff like that. So a property you might have been able to buy for probably about £6,000 or £7,000 in 1972 might set you back £500,000. It's all right if you've got that property and you're able to keep remortgaging your property, but every time you remortgage, of course, you're back to square one, aren't you? You're at the mercy of the interest rates, and therefore, if you've include your council tax and stuff like that, you could be on a dodgy wicket with your remortgaging properties just to get by. But I suppose you can get bank loans and stuff on the collateral of the property, but using your house as collateral is also a very dangerous thing, because if you do screw up, for a more polite way of putting it, and you're unable to keep up the payments on that, then you've lost your property. So it does make you wonder how people actually get by, because remembering, of course, properties need to, be kept to a reasonable standard to keep the weather out. I mean, you don't have to put on a new roof every year, but I do remember people used to put new carpets in the lounge every year. We did. Well, not every year, but every couple of years. Every couple of years was new carpets, and often we get a new 3-piece suite every 2 years or 3 years, 3 years maximum. And never really understood why, because the ones that we were getting rid of were perfectly fine. But as I say, my dear late mother, she was very much liked to decorate in the spring. Almost every year she would tear great chunks off the wallpaper, and that would be the start. We'd have to join in, and there was no method to this. It was just a case of Mum would start tearing lumps out of the wallpaper, and one of my sisters would probably go to another corner and start tearing lumps out of the wallpaper, and before we knew it, the whole family were involved in this little episode. And of course my dad was trying to watch the news or something on the television, and he was surrounded by huge pieces of wallpaper being discarded at his feet and stuff. And well, that was always the first signs of a new decorating. Yes, well, the new decorating was going to be commencing very shortly after that, and usually only took a couple of weeks, but it was always very eventful, wasn't it? I don't think people at the moment are entirely happy with their lives. I think probably that in the year 2023 no one fully expected it to be so shite as it is, and it's very miserable. And I think it must be more miserable if you tune into breakfast television or something, or if you sit and watch BBC News in the morning. I think it's on from 6 a.m. or something. I couldn't imagine anything more depressing but sitting eating your cornflakes, watching that drivel. But I think a lot of people do. And I'm very pleased that I was telling somebody not so long ago that I've gone more than 8 years without a television, and said that's unimaginable. I said it's not. It's perfectly feasible, and I've done it, and I don't miss not a second. Absolutely not a second. I feel it would save my life. And, yes, the views today were absolutely stunning, but regrettably I wished I had made that. I say it often, and I have to start getting things into practice first thing in the morning, and just making a beeline for the rucksack and getting it organised. I think I have to start doing what I used to do, was preparing rucksack in the evening, ready for a quick uplift and off as early as possible. But I'm very confident that with the month of April coming in shortly, despite I still think there's going to be some winteriness, I think I'm going to make full use of the month of April up high. And I don't know, but I think I might take you on onto some really high mountains on this venture. I think we'll go well over 3,500 feet and up towards 4,000 feet, just to let you see what it's like up there, how beautiful it is, and how stunning the landscape can be at that elevation. And on a day like today particularly, the gorgeous breaks in the sunshine and the massive cloud and the rain, it really is heavenly. And as I say, I'm very sorry I didn't capture more in Glen Crieff, but hopefully I'm just going to step across to my computer actually, because I noticed one of my edits is already ready for a YouTube upload, part 1 actually. This one's called Morning Procrastination. It steals the day, and it sums up exactly what happened today, the 22nd of March 23. Okay, that's me sorted that part out, and it's now offloading to the YouTube platform for viewing shortly. But yes, I was thinking about, I mean, people with the fuel bills and sitting terrified about the costs and things of the lighting and cooking and heating and stuff, you see. But in all honesty, not sure how many people wish to admit this, but certainly growing up in the 60s and 70s and most of the 80s, sorry, that doesn't sound right. Yes. Let's put it another way. Most houses did not have any central heating at all. Certainly when I was growing up, there was no central heating in the house whatsoever. But we had one fire in the lounge. We had separate fires in each of the bedrooms. Actually, no, that's not correct, Andrew. One of the bedrooms didn't have any heating at all. Two of the bedrooms had a small fire, and I'm talking about my family home, and we had the main fire. That was it. And we didn't put the bedroom fires on unless it was exceptionally cold. And obviously it's very dangerous to have open fires in your bedroom. But of course you had a guard piece, of course, with sparking coal and stuff like that, see. But this is, even at my grandmother's house, both grandmothers actually had no central heating, but they had coal fires spread around the house. And when I spent a lot of my childhood up at my grandmother's in the High Street, it was a very vintage house, but there was also coal fires. And the way she used to do it was, perhaps maybe 45 minutes or something before retiring to bed, she had the tongs, and they wouldn't light the fire in the bedroom, they'd just take tongs and put it into the open fire and take it through the shovel and place the embers into the grate of the bedroom fire. And this was sufficient to allow heat into the bedroom, you see. But of course I never, even to this day, I cannot stand a warm bedroom. My bedroom currently has the windows wide open. I only close them when I retire for the evening. But I cannot stand having a warm bedroom. I don't know how anyone can actually sleep in a warm bedroom. And obviously you don't want it to be too cold, otherwise you can't get to sleep either. There is a balance. And well, I'm on this subject. Yes, I'm just saying that people get very, very upset about being cold. And I mean, rightly so. There's nothing more unpleasant than being cold in the house and not having any sufficient heating or something. But the point is that people tend to, they tend to turn up the heating when it's not even necessary. I mean, I've got this fire and I don't have much choice because this is the only source of heating I have. But if the weather is sufficiently mild, you don't have to stack the fire all evening. You just need to put on the fire for a little while just to heat the air. But central heating itself it's. I mean, let me put it another way. Most working class homes never had a colander, for example. There was no such thing as a colander in the working class homes that I ever visited. I mean, well, it was always just, if you're draining potatoes, you just lifted the saucepan. You got in the knack of holding the lid of the saucepan against the boiling water, against the potatoes as the boiling water was drained down the sink or something, you see. But no one had a colander. So this is something that if you were into someone's house nowadays and you discover they didn't have a colander, you think, well, where on earth have they been? And likewise, if you went into someone's house and, as I said before, I always bring out the soup tureen, even though I'm serving just for one. I think you've got to keep up a certain amount of decorum, even when you're dining alone. And so I always, have napkins ready at the dinner table, and always light a candle and stuff, and normally serve soup from the soup tureen, and I mean, I know it's additional washing and stuff, but it's right. And some people just eat straight out of the saucepan, which I've never really understood why they want to be so lazy in life. For example, I always have a gravy pot, sauces and stuff, sauce dish and butter dish, and I also have. I always have the table set for for 5 courses, and I also have the starter cut laid at the right places, and a soup spoon and dessert spoon, and different angles at the top edge, and I usually have a wine glass, you see, also a wine glass now, a glass of water, and so I'm sitting down and tucking into something with maybe have a quick glance over and say, well, I wonder what I can choose from the Fulton and Mason selection this evening, and often I maybe take something like French mustard or Dijon mustard or something like this. Or sometimes it's it's maybe one of the very popular fruit drinks. I sometimes get fruit drink to go with the meal if I'm not having an aperitif or something. Perhaps I'm not wishing to uncork the claret or something, or a bottle of sherry or something, At times, I've always got a stacked wine rack. As anybody who visits the property, they will know that I've normally got a fairly wide selection of wines normally from Chile or some South African, I've got some Australian Chardonnays. Don't really think so much of the Australian Chardonnay, but certainly I've got a very wide selection of French wine, and I've also got brandy, and all the, well, not for sipping along my meal, you understand, but I normally have a brandy for afterwards. So I used to sit in the lounge with a glass of brandy and puff away at the cigar and just relax a little and think about life and normally at that time in the evening I've got the Radio 3 evening concerts on, and I normally just sit and listen to that, and Although I don't really like it when it's broadcast from the Barbican Centre. I always find it very fiddly type of background noises and stuff. I don't like it very. I prefer from Radio 3 or maybe broadcasting, at least an edited set or something from, maybe from Warsaw or something, it was the Polish National Orchestra or something I was playing, or maybe Hungarians or something, playing in Vienna or something, but if they play the Barbican Centre, I don't find this frivolous noise, the Barbican, I'd be out taking a little sip of brandy, what a damn noise of tuning Shostakovich or something, and background noise from the Barbican. There was noise about it. And I think to myself, and I said, I never bloody well feeling that BBC Radio 3 and I complained to them. I said, well, after you got all this bloody noise and background fiddling around and stuff, never get this. Anything played from Warsaw, Budapest or something like this, but for some reason there's always some sort of interference and unnecessary type of hilarity and clapping and the presenters always seems to be sniveling and that damn music playing, sniveling over the microphone, talking about it. Just let it play. Send me brandy. I don't think it's brandy. I think it's well, I don't know brandy. Of course, well. After a couple of glasses of Chablis and maybe one or two brandies, well, I was in the music and stuff. Maybe it's not 2 glasses of brandy, maybe it's, when I think about it, maybe about. I don't know. I mean, glasses of brandy. It's not a brandy. People should read.